Does it show that it has started recording on your side?
Yeah.
Cool. So good evening, and thank you very much for making time to be here today, taking time out of your busy schedules to come and listen to what we have for today's Power Up Tuesday. I'm Gloria, and I'll be the moderator for this session titled Deep Dive into Power Automate. Without further ado, let me welcome our speaker, who is a community builder, software developer, technical writer, and currently works at Microsoft as a Game of Learners ambassador, Mr. Patrick. I can't pronounce his second name, so just welcome, Patrick. Feel free to ask any questions if you have, post them on the chat, and Patrick will handle them. So welcome, Patrick. Patrick, we can't hear you. I think your mic is not on. Maybe you can unmute yourself.
Gloria, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, thank you. I'm going to start by really apologizing for the technical hitch to everyone. So thank you very much, Gloria, for such a wonderful introduction. It feels so great to see you all here with us tonight for the Power Automate session. So as Gloria has just mentioned, my name is Patrick Chuvahiro. I will be taking you through Power Automate. All right, so we know that some of you present with us have been using Power Automate for some time, and we do know that others, it's probably your first time to hear about Power Automate, or even to learn a few things about Power Automate. So whether you are a brand new user of Power Automate or have been using Power Automate for a long time, you will learn things that will make your use of Power Automate even more effective and efficient as well. And we will give you a full spectrum of what you can do with it. So allow me to share my screen. A second. Gloria, let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, it's coming up. Yeah, it's up now.
All right. So we may just use Power Automate only, since the offline version is taking ages. So here is an overview. Throughout the presentation, we'll cover 5 different things. Number 1, what is Power Automate and what can you do with it? 2, we look at how you can get Power Automate. I will be guiding you. 3, how can you create a flow using a template? 4, how can you create a flow from scratch? And finally, we look at the various types of flows available on Power Automate. All right, so without further ado, let's get started. So number one, what is Power Automate? Power Automate, formerly known as Microsoft Flow, is an online workflow service within the Microsoft 365 applications and add-ins used for creating automated actions across the most apps and services. So when you see or hear Power Automate, automatically think of it as an automated action across apps and services. So Power Automate is part of the Microsoft Power Platform line of products, together with other products like Power Apps and Power BI. So now, the next one is what can you do with Power Automate? Since you've just understood what Power Automate is all about, let's cross over to what you can do with it. So you can use Power Automate to automate workflows between your favorite applications and services, sync files, get notifications, collect data, and much more. There are various things you can use Power Automate on, various tasks. For instance, you can instantly respond to high priority notifications or emails. You can capture, track, and follow up with new sales leads. You could also copy all email attachments to your OneDrive, for instance, for business account. The other thing you could do, you could also collect data about your business and share that information with your team. And another one, you could also automate approval workflows. So for those of you who are still new to Power Automate, I know that some of the terms may sound a little complicated and may perhaps make you want to run away. But don't worry, stick around. Just stay with us, because with Power Automate, you can simplify your life and reduce a number of tasks that you do. So to make this real, let me give you a simple example. Let's say I run a YouTube channel, and almost every day I upload a video to the YouTube channel. Now, not only do I upload the video, or rather videos to the YouTube channel, but I also post about the videos that I upload on Twitter. So it's a manual task that I have to do almost every single day. But the question is, how can I do it more efficiently with Power Automate? With Power Automate, it can check the YouTube channel that I run, and when it finds out that I have uploaded a new video, it will automatically tweet on Twitter on my behalf. So it can simplify and eliminate one of the manual tasks that I perform from time to time. But most importantly, you don't need any prior coding knowledge or experience to be able to use Power Automate. So anyone can jump in, create an automated task, and have Power Automate do the work for you. Of course, I will show you that in a moment, step by step, on how you can do it. The other thing, before we dive deep into Power Automate, I would like you to take note that Power Automate has a free consumer version of it. So it has a free consumer version, but it also has a premium version. And the premium version, you can use it with your work or school accounts, and that will cost you a little bit more. But this evening, we'll just be focusing on the free version of it, which also has tons and tons of features that can really make your life easier. Okay, so enough talk. Let's jump on PC so that I can show you how you can get started with Power Automate. Let me share the entire screen. I hope, Gloria, you can see the entire screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. So now, here I am on my PC, and to access Power Automate, we need to navigate to office.com. So if we just type in office.com in the URL, second, okay. So once we land on office.com, we'll click on the sign in button, as you can see it right here. And it will take us to the login page. So if you already have a Microsoft account, or okay, let's say if you have it, you can enter it right away. But if you don't have an account yet, don't worry, you can still create it here. As you can see, you can create one. And after doing so, you will immediately type in your email address or phone or whatever. And feel free, it's free to create an account. You will not pay anything at all. All right, so once we are done, we just enter our email address here, and then we can also enter our password. Doing so, and then we can see this dialog box prompting us to stay signed in. For now, we can just click no. And now, after doing so, we can just give it a few seconds as it loads. So if you are also following through, feel free to follow along as I take you on how to get to the authenticated or rather to land on what I call the authenticated version of office.com. So we can just give it a few seconds. And then one of the things we can do on office.com as we wait for it to take us to the homepage, or what I normally call the authenticated version of Office, we can have access to various things once we log in. As you can see, we can not only have access to Power Automate, but we can also have all these other productivity tools. For example, we have Outlook for email. We do have free cloud storage, which is OneDrive. We do have well-known productivity tools such as Word, Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, and so forth. So once you get here, you just click on this app launcher here on the top. You can see it. I hope you can see it. So once you click there, you can be able to see even more apps, you see. So you could be, maybe let's say if you want to use an app that you are not able to see here on what I can call the display, but which is the app launcher, you can simply click here on all apps and you will be able to see more apps. But in our case, we just want to use Power Automate. So we just go ahead and click here on Power Automate. And then as you can see, of course it's loading, but it's going to take us to the home Power Automate homepage. We can still give it a few seconds as well. All right, so here we are. And if we could just take a moment to see what the homepage has to offer, okay? So this is the Power Automate homepage, as you can see. So on the homepage, you'll find on this left-hand side, you'll find various menus. For instance, there is these action items. We have my flows, we have the create, we have templates, and so forth. So the action items is where you can manage approvals and business process work flows. This is where you get to manage all of that. And for the My Flows, this is where your flows, your flows reside. Let's say you've created some flows and you want to, access them. So this is where you will get them. The next one is the create, and this is where you can start a new flow. We will definitely use this one. And the next one is templates. Now, templates is where you can take a look at some of the most popular templates available. So it does have templates that you can reuse. So you may not want to create a template, a flow from scratch. In that case, you can just go ahead and use some of the templates available. And those templates may give you great ideas on flows that you may want to try. The next one is the connectors. This is where you can connect from one service to another. We will definitely use that as well. We do have, the next one is data. So this is where you can access entities, connections, custom connectors, and gateways. And then the other one is monitor. This is where you can view the activity of all your cloud and desktop flows. The other one is AI Builder, as you can see. This is where you can build AI models and view the models you created or that have been shared with you. Here, this is where you can view all of that. And the other one is Process Advisor. This is where you can create processes to help your organization, for instance, to better understand places to streamline workflows. And then the solution, which is right here, is where you can manage your solutions. And the last one is Learn. Here is where you find more information that will help you quickly ramp up on Power Automate right here. Okay, so now to make this real, I want to go back to the example I shared with you at the beginning. As I said, suppose I have a YouTube channel and every time I upload a video to the channel, I want Power Automate to instantly tweet about that video. So let's see if Power Automate can help us do that. The easier way you can do it. So if we click here on create, okay, maybe we can start with the templates to use a pre-built flow instead of creating one from scratch, but we'll definitely do that as well. So if we click on templates, as you can see, we can you can see a number of templates right here. You can, let's say, for instance, we do have saveoutlook.com email attachments to your OneDrive, which is an automated template. We do have the complete a custom action for the selected file. So we do have a bunch of templates that you can use to create your flow. So in some ways, in some circumstances, you may not need to start from scratch and build a flow. All right, so what we are going to do, and as you can see, you can even see more templates. So we really have many templates here. So in our case, remember, we just want to have to build or create, or rather use a template that helps us to tweet every time we upload a video to our YouTube channel. So I will just go ahead and search for YouTube, and then once I do that, we can just wait, give it a few seconds. Just go ahead in the search bar right here. If you are following along, You just type in YouTube. And as you can see, we do have all the templates related to YouTube. For instance, we do have the share YouTube video on Twitter. We do have when a YouTube video is uploaded, send an email, and a whole bunch of other YouTube related templates. But in our case, after searching for YouTube, we got a template that looks like the one we really want to use, okay? So, which is right here, share YouTube video on Twitter. So if I just go ahead and click on it, as you can see, just a few seconds. So this is the template that we want to use, which will allow us to share updates or notifications on Twitter instantly without us having to intervene. All right, so you can see when you upload to YouTube, share your video to Twitter. We can also customize our tweet message. Let's say we may want to say, hey, this is my new video, or rather, this is my new episode, whatever you want. Then after that, we need to connect. You need to keep in mind that we'll have to connect YouTube to Power Automate. So we'll need to grant Power Automate access to our YouTube channel, which is what I've already done here. And we also need to do the same for Twitter, okay, so that Power Automate may be able to automate that task. And once this is complete, we can easily see this green check mark for the valid connection, which means we've connected it successfully, and so is it for Twitter. Then we just go ahead and click on continue. To that, okay, we just give it a few seconds. Then on the next page, you can see a visual showing us what's going to happen, okay? So it says when we upload the video, so that's the trigger, in other words, then at the bottom, you can see the action that will immediately take place. So on Twitter, on our Twitter account, Power Automate will immediately post a tweet about saying, check out this new YouTube video I uploaded. And it will also post the link to the YouTube video, which is right here. So you can enter the link. It can automatically enter the link. You can also choose to add the summary of the video, for instance. You can add the description and all of that. And once you are done, you just click save. And once you click save, if you go back here, my flows, remember I told you what it does. This is where you can see all the flows that you have. You can easily see the flow that we've just created about 5 seconds ago, you see? Share YouTube video on Twitter. So whenever we upload our new video on our YouTube channel, it will automatically post first thing that we've just talked about. And let's say you also want to notify some people on email, not only on Twitter, you could also notify them on email, you could notify them on Facebook. So you can still do all of that. But in view of time, we may not cover all of them and go ahead and show you how it's running on Facebook or on Twitter. But this is how you can go about it. And congratulations, now we've just created our flow, our first flow. Now, as I was just telling you, we can see all the flows that we've created or we created in the past. And if I click here on this flow that we've just created, you can see a summary. You can get a summary view of our new flow. So we can just give it a few seconds. This is where you can find the 28-day run history. So every time the flow runs, just see if you can see it. So every time the flow runs, you can see the record of it, okay? You could also check your connections and see whether they are still running, etc., etc. So among the other things I could do, let's say I no longer need my flow, I can just click here. I hope you can see the 3 dots right here. And if I click here, we can see the turn off option. So let's say I need a little break on from Twitter. I could just turn it off, and that will the flow will never run. It will never run until I turn it on again. Okay, so in this example that I have just demonstrated, you can create a new flow from a template. And I also want to show you how you can create a flow from scratch. Okay, so we've just created a flow using a template. Now let's cross over to how we can create a flow from scratch. So what we do, we simply click here on the create pivot. So what you can see here, these are basically some of the ways that you can start a new flow. Okay, so we can start a new flow using the automated cloud flow, instant cloud flow, scheduled cloud flow, desktop flow, business process flow, process advisor. Yeah, so let's say, for instance, we want to use this automated cloud flow. So essentially, this means that whenever a trigger occurs, for example, in the case of me uploading a video on YouTube, the flow will take action based on the instructions that the flow was given. So in this case, it will be posting a tweet. So let's go ahead and so that I can show you how you can create the flow. So we can give it a name. Let's say YouTube to Twitter, for instance. YouTube to Twitter. And then we can type YouTube. See. Okay. YouTube. All right, so we can select this one when I upload a video. Then we click on create. Just give it a few more seconds as it loads. All right, so since we are creating a flow from scratch, which means we are not using a template, we will need to add the Twitter step, whereby when a new video is uploaded, it will immediately make the post. Okay, so we just click here, next step, then we type Twitter, for instance. Then we select this connector, and then what do we want it to do? Do we want it to post a tweet? Do we want it to retweet? Do we want it to get followers? Do we want it to get following and all of that? So there is a bunch of options right here, but in our case, we want to post a tweet. So we just select that. So then this is where we enter the text to be posted. Hey, this is my new episode. Hey, this is my new video and all of that. And then we can also enter the link. For instance, that's the link to the video on YouTube. We can also enter a summary. We can also enter a description, for instance, you see. So once we are done with all of that, we just hit save, and we just give it a few more seconds as it's saving. It's saved already, and then we can see our flow in my flows. Okay, so this is the flow that we've just created, okay, from scratch. So you've seen that we can use a template, and we can also create a flow from scratch manually. The other thing I would like to show you is how to use an instant flow. So if we go back to create, you can see the instant flow option here. So if we just click on it, and compared to the previous example of an automated flow, which is automatically triggered when a video is uploaded, in this case, you can simply schedule when you want the flow to remind you of a certain activity. Let's say, for example, that you are a manager and you want to remind your employees to send reports, or you are a team lead in your class, for instance, and you want to remind your classmates to submit their assignments. So you see, or rather you understand how much unnecessary work it will take you to remind about 100 or even 1,000 employees of, for example, a particular activity if you had to do it manually, you see. So in this case, we just need to do, what we just need to do is to click here on manually trigger a flow, and we will not need to send it to 100 people or 1,000 people manually. We'll just automate this, and it will be able to do that. So once we are done, we just once we have selected the flow that will be triggered, we just click here on create, and then the next step is to determine who do we want to notify. So let's say we want to notify Patrick and inform him, or rather remind him to send let's say a monthly report. So what we do, we need to make sure, let's say we want to send them the reminder through their email address. So I do have an email address, address stored somewhere on OneDrive. So we can just navigate to OneDrive, and just a second, which is a personal cloud storage. I'm just going to show you how it looks like on OneDrive, so that you may know exactly where do I put the email addresses of the people I want to notify, how do I link the Excel sheet, for instance, that has all the addresses, how do I link it with Power Automate and all of that. So let's open OneDrive so that you may see exactly how it looks like. In the meantime, all right, so it must be somewhere, I think, book one, or if it's not there, we can still add a new email address. Let's see. All right. So our Excel sheet is entitled book addresses. Okay. So let me just change this. Right. Then another thing you need to make sure, so this is the name and the email address of the person that we want to notify. So you need to make sure that the records are formatted as table, okay, to be able to send out the notification to everyone. So we can choose, let's say, this one, and as you can see, it's formatted as a table. Remember, our sheet is called, or rather is named book one, okay? or okay, let's make it more interesting. We can just name it 8 bracket 2022. All right. Then if we go back to our Power Automate, we just select this one, list rows present in a table. When we click there, second. All right, so when we click there, we can be able to enter the location of our file. All right, so we just click here to select the location. In our case, it's on OneDrive. Seconds. Just a few seconds as we enter the location. It will automatically give us a list the locations of some of the directories that OneDrive. That's why we really need to enter the location. Let me try adding a new one. So list rows present in a table. All right. We give it a few more seconds. All right, here we go. So we need to select this OneDrive for Business because we're using our file is located on OneDrive. Then the next one, we need to select the document library. Then if we click here, it's still on OneDrive. Then the file, okay? We need to select the file name here. Remember, it's Power Automate bracket 2022, which is here. Then once we are done, we also need to select the table name. So if we click here, the table name is student, for instance. Then let's say the next step, we want to schedule when this is supposed to be sent out. So what we do, we just enter schedule. We just type in schedule here, and we can see the schedule operation. So if we select, it gives us 2 actions that we can perform. The first one is the delay, and the other one is delay until. So we can delay. Let's say you are busy with your son's assignments at work or at school, and you want to schedule when the notification is supposed to be sent out. So you can still use this one. Let's click delay. And then we are going to specify the seconds. Let's just say we want to send to have it sent out within 5 seconds. So we just enter 5, and we need to select the unit for. So for us, it's second. You can also select whether it's month or week or day and so forth. But for us, we just need to select second, and then. Then after that, we need to add another action and now to perform another operation, which is the notification. Okay, so we can just type in notifications. That is that operation notifications. All right, so here it is. If we just click here, we can also select the actions that we want to make. So in our case, we want to send, we may want to send, let's say if you want to send a notification on mobile or on email, you are free to select whichever that may work for you in view of the task that you want to perform. So in our case, in my case, I prefer email notifications. If we just select this one, second. All right. All right. So send me an email notification. So this is where we can enter the subject. Let's say reminder. And then here it's where we enter the body. Let's say we could say something like Hi, Patrick. Hi, Patrick. This is a kind reminder. This is a kind reminder to submit. Sorry. Okay. Reminder. Then okay, let's just say hi, Patrick, to make good use of time. Okay. So once we are done, then the other thing you could do, you could also copy other people. Let's say you are in a team and you want to, maybe you want your supervisor to know that you're following up on a few things, or you are reminding your team members to submit their assignments and all of that. You can still add them, which is copying them. You can also BCC some people, you can add attachments and so forth. All right, so once we click save, just a few seconds, all right, as it's saving. And then once we are done, and just a few seconds. Gloria, we are running out of time. I hope you will not hate me if I take a few more minutes. I will just move so fast. And then, so once we save our flow, we just need to test it. So we can just test it manually. If we click test, let's just give it a few seconds, and then afterwards we will run it so that you can see that it's actually working. Connection. Sorry for the background noise. All right, so just test it manually, and then all right, so we are good to go. And then we click continue, then run flow. Can just give it a few seconds. As we run the flow, let me open my email to check the inbox whether there is a notification that has just landed. And then remember, we gave it just 5 seconds. So the moment we click here, it may take some 5 seconds to notify the receiver. Okay, so if you set 1 month, it will notify them after 1 month. 1 month. You can set whether to notify them every month, every week, every day, and so forth. All right, so our flow is running successfully, and as you can see, we do have this notification here. I hope you can see it in my inbox. It's a new email, or rather notification, that has just landed. Hi, Patrick, this is a kind reminder, blah, blah, blah. I hope you can see it. Then the other one that we had just created, here it is as well. It has landed. Yeah, hi, Patrick. Full stop, you see. So this is how you can be able to notify your team members, your classmates, and all of those, as long as you're working on towards a common goal. So one of the things that you will notice is that my life is getting easier and easier. I feel less weight on my shoulders when I'm adding these flows that we've just created. When I'm creating them, it makes my life easier and my work easier, because I don't have to remember all these things anymore. I don't have to remember that every month I need to set out reminders and all of that. Sometimes it can be overwhelming, but with Power Automate, you can easily get them automated, and Power Automate will be able to perform the task for you. All right, so The next one that I may want to show you, although we may not go deep into it, is the scheduled cloud flow. In view of time, we may not talk much about it, but this is where you can also schedule when you want your flow to run. Let's say I want to, what can we do? Let's say every year, a friend of mine or a colleague celebrates a wedding anniversary, for instance. So I may need to send them an email, more or less wishing them the best or something like that, you see. So what I do, I just schedule when I want the flow to run. It could be tonight, it could be tomorrow or whenever. Then I also set the time. Is it at 10 a.m.? Do I want them to get the notification at noon? Whenever. And then do I want to repeat every year, every month or something? So depending on what I want them, or rather what I want to remind them about, I will determine the frequency of that reminder. Okay, so once we are done, we also click here, create, and we'll be able to proceed with the rest and to do. Do we want it to be sent as an email? Anything that we want. As you saw, we do have a number of connectors, and we may not go through them all. I mean, we may not go through all of them all at once. Okay, but depending on what you want to do, you can still select your connectors. So to wind up, as you can see, if I click here on create, as you can see, if I scroll down, we do have a number of connectors. We do have a number of templates that you can still choose from. Do you want to follow up on a message? Blah, blah, blah. Do you want to start, let's say, do you want to send an email? Do you want to use SharePoint? Do you want to use Microsoft Dataverse? Do you want to use OneDrive? So you can get all of these tasks automated, all right? So recently, if I remember correctly, I think they said that the number of connectors that you can have here, let's say if you click here, all connectors, is 354, but of course there could be even more to this point. Okay, so you can see all the connectors available and you can be able to take advantage of them. You can see it's a bunch of them. All right, so that's pretty much it. And this is what I had prepared for you tonight. Of course, in view of time, I really don't want to take much of your time. We had a technical hitch, but at least I'm glad that we've been able to look at what Power Automate is all about and what you can do with it. I really appreciate your presence. I really appreciate your time, and I hope you enjoyed tonight's session. All right, so thank you very much all. Back to Gloria.
Thank you very much, Patrick, for teaching us how to use Power Automate. It has been very insightful, and the application to me was very practical, and I think that applies to all the attendees here. So thank you very much for that. We surely are going to be using Power Automate for a lot of our stuff now. So thank you. Also, I would like to say thank you to the whole team, Shadrach, Humphrey, Laura, who have made this event a success. Thank you very much. And last but not least, thank you to everyone who has made time to attend and who has bared with us despite starting late. Thank you very much. We really appreciate that. So I don't see any messages, any questions on chat. Let me just check quickly. Yeah, people are just saying how the session was great. Yeah, I can see Dan saying it was a great session. Catherine saying she must remind people of the assignments. Yeah. Yeah, and also some links there to follow Patrick on LinkedIn. So make sure you do so. Connect with him there. If you have any other questions as you continue using Power Automate, feel free to ask him, contact him. Maybe he can also drop his email address there on chat. Yeah, I think Shadrach is working on that. All right, so I think that's it. Have a lovely evening. Till we meet again, maybe next Tuesday.
Hello. Before everyone leaves. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Hello. Okay, I wanted to remind you about Fridays. Yeah, we are having the MS Build unpacking. So I wanted to invite everybody. So let us meet on Thursday as from 5:30 p.m. It is a great session there. Hope you'll enjoy, and it has a lot awaiting you. So hope to see everyone there. Yeah, hope you'll also have a good exposure about what is new in the Power Platform field there. And the Power BI, Power Automate also. Yeah, hope to see you there. Have a nice evening.
Thank you very much. Sorry. Thank you very much, Humphrey, for that reminder.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Sorry. Okay. We hope to be there. The recording. No, naona Shadrack ndo ako ndani. Gosh, hii ni meeting gani niko ndani? Niko meeting ya Joelin ama niko meeting nyingine? Oh, so let me stop recording.